In this incredible journey, I encountered a ruthless alpha whose unfriendliness towards me at first sight left me puzzled and curious. But as the story unfolds, I found that my connection with him was far deeper than I ever imagined. Our tale is filled with misunderstandings, pain, and rage, but behind it lies a touching story of love and sacrifice. I am 𝐿𝐿𝐿, and he is 𝐷𝐴𝐻, my alpha, the one destined for me. Join me as we delve into this complex tale of love, betrayal, family, and revenge. Chapter 29. The next afternoon, I decided to ask 𝐷𝐴𝐻 some questions that I had been thinking of. 𝐷𝐴𝐻, we need to talk. We're talking, aren't we? Well, we are, but not much. There are some issues I want you to clear up for me. Good. There are some things I need to understand too. Okay. Let's play 20 questions then. Why were you mean to me the very first day you saw me? That's just the way I usually am. You were a rogue. I have a bad history with them, and the way you talked to me didn't help matters. If you had been polite, I might have been. Why were you so rude to me and didn't tell me anything about you? I was rude to you because I found you annoying and I couldn't stand the way you talked to me, and I didn't want to tell you anything because it had nothing to do with you. I replied, what do you have against rogues? They killed my foster parents. He simply replied, your foster parents? Does this mean? I asked, shocked at the revelation. If you look at it in that aspect, I'm not really the true alpha of the pack. I had no idea about this, and I'm still surprised that he's actually replying me honestly. What does 𝐿𝐿𝐿 have against you? Sincerely, I still don't know. I just know she really hates me because of a prophecy that says I'll kill her, so she's just trying to kill me before I do, and sincerely I don't think I would. Who is 𝐿𝐿𝐿? I asked, and I could see him. 𝐿𝐿𝐿 was my sister. He replied, what happened to her? How did she die? It was my fault. I let her go to look for my mother, and before I came back she was dead. I shouldn't have left. He replied, his voice filled with guilt. It was obvious he blamed himself for her death, and he wasn't over it, and I kind of felt guilty for bringing up memories. What don't you like about me? I could feel his eyes trained on me just as I was about to reply. Your complexity. You can be fun to be with, sometimes even caring and understanding, and other times you're rude, cold, unaffectionate and distant. I can't keep up with that, and I don't want you to be like that. I want to get to know you. I'd like that. I want to really get to know you too. I want you to open up to me. Come to me if you are feeling good or bad. I just want us to have this sort of connection, understanding. I'd like the same too. I want you to open up to me. Talk to me about anything and everything, and for us to get along. We do that from now on then. What is 𝐿𝐿𝐿 to you? He wasn't expecting me to ask that at all, and I could sense that he was thinking of what to say, probably not to hurt me, replying. She was my girlfriend. There's nothing going on between us now. Why did you have sex with 𝐿𝐿𝐿 even after realizing I was your mate? I asked, the pain evident in my tone. I'm sorry. I wanted to take my mind off you. I know it was a stupid thing to do though. Very stupid. You have no idea what I went through. It wouldn't have affected me that much if it was before you met me, but it was the day you met me, 𝐷𝐴𝐻. If you wanted your mind off me, you could have come to talk to me, or better still, not talk to me. I'm sorry for the pain I caused you. He apologized. Your sorry is not going to do anything, 𝐷𝐴𝐻. I said, and he promised not to, and I hoped he would keep it. I know, I just want you to know I'm sorry. Why did you have to do something that you know you'd be sorry? I was really angry, and the matter has been bothering me for a while. I don't know what to say to you, but I'm really sorry. He apologized. The guilt evident in his eyes, and I just said, okay. I have to go now. I'd see you later. Why do you have to go now? What am I supposed to do? I whined. Watch TV, talk to Jonathan, or just sleep. You need rest anyway. I don't want to do any of that. Do you want to come with me then? I wanted to be with him, but there's a chance I'd encounter few people, and I'm not ready for that, but then maybe I could find a friend, so I agreed. We were at his pack house now. People stared at us as we passed, and I could hear murmurs as to who I was and was doing with 𝐷𝐴𝐻, but I ignored it. We were in his office. It was pretty spacious with a big table and chair. There was space for a meeting with about 10 people. I helped him in clearing some files away that he no longer needed into a big long bookshelf. When I was done, he started attending to some things while I just sat down going through some apps on his phone. There was a knock on the door and in came a guy with blonde hair, cute blue eyes and a muscular body. He was quite tall too, and there was this friendly, bubbly glow about him. "You came last night and you couldn't dim it fit to visit me. What a friend you are," he said, and Dame unrolled his eyes. "It's good to see you to Chase. And he told you it's good to see you. You can go back to where you're coming from for all I care," Chase said, and Damon laughed. It was nice seeing Damon like this, joking around, smiling and laughing, and he was looking at me with a smile on his face throughout, and I couldn't help but smile. Chase turned to look at me and smiled, and I was wondering why he did. "So you found your mate, huh?" Chase said, raising his eyebrows, and Damon smiled, looking at me. "Yeah. How do you even know?" Damon asked. "The way you're looking at her and your scent on her is quite dominant, which brings us back to last night. How was your night, Damon?" he asked. Damon stood up to give him a slap on the head, causing me to laugh. "I like the guy already. Sometimes I just wonder where I got you from," Damon said, and Chase laughed. "Did you just need me in your life? Without me your life is like a lawn. Boring. Dark alley," Chase told him, and I laughed. He really put it into words. I've not seen this playful side of Damon before, and it's just because of Chase. I wonder if I can have this effect on him someday. "I'm Chase. This guy's awesome best friend, and you are the honor," I introduced, and he smiled. "It's nice to meet you. I hope that we be best of friends." He gave me a hug, and it was quite surprising. I hoped that too. I could see Damon staring straight at me. I don't think he likes that Chase is hugging me. He cleared his throat to let us know he was still there, and Chase pulled out laughing. "Since you're going to be busy, why don't I show her around?" Chase suggested, and Damon told him not to bother, that he could do it. "Well, we're going to spend the day together while you attend to your alpha duties." Chase pulled me out of the office before Damon could say anything. "So how long have you guys known each other?" I asked as we walked to the lounge, and Chase told me 10 years. "That's a long time. How do you stand him?" I found myself asking, and he laughed. "He can be so annoying, right? You have to overlook it sometimes, and if you talk some sense into him, I'd be sure to keep that in mind. You just have to bear with him. He's been through a lot and it still affects him. He's not used to showing emotions and he let his temper rule, but he's a really good friend, and I think he'd make a great mate, but if not, we can always kick his ass. I hope it won't come to that though," I said, laughing. "It probably won't. Damon can be quite possessive of what's his when he wants to, and he doesn't let go of what's his. I'm hoping he'd do that. To my 𝐊𝐢𝐳𝐸𝐿 𝐿𝐸 Hearts that saints are unfailing patience, enthusiasm. I'd like to see him possessive, so have you found your mate?" I asked. "No. Not yet. I'm hoping to find her soon," he said, and I reassured him he'd find her in time. Chase and I spent the day together along with Sam and Jonathan. The trio were a catch, especially Jonathan and Chase. I couldn't imagine what they would do. We were currently watching a movie when Damon walked in. "Come join us." Chase beckoned, and he told him no. "I'm tired, Lee. Let's go home." "But the movie hasn't even ended." I winced. "Since you're tired, you can go. I'd bring her over," Chase suggested, while Damon walked over to where I was, pulled me up and carried me bridal style. "Oh, I see why you want to go home," Chase said, laughing, and I kicked his head as we passed. "Make sure to keep it down," Jonathan said, and I just laughed. They were a bunch of crazy idiots. We walked away from the pack house, and although I told him to drop me down, he didn't till we've gotten to the car. "You spent the whole day with him?" Damon started. "Yes. He's actually fun to be with," I told him, and a frown appeared on his face. Could he be jealous? "You're not coming with me tomorrow, then?" He stated then he could come over. He'd be busy tomorrow. Then I'd come help him out so he'd be less busy, I said, smiling, and Damon's frown worsened. "So you're enjoying his company more than you're enjoying mine?" He growled out. "Yes." I answered, smiling. "I'm going to make you enjoy my company more than his." He promised, and I smiled. Better for me. I never thought that I'd see Damon jealous, and it's nice. It's good to know that he wants to spend time with me. Chapter 30. The next morning, I woke up and Damon was still surprisingly beside me. "Good morning," he greeted, giving me a peck on the forehead. "Good morning," I replied, and he put his hands around my hair, stroking it. "Why are you still here? Do you want me out that much?" he asked, frowning. "No, it's just that you're not ready to leave yet." I replied, "Do you want me to?" he asked, and I told him no. "Good. We're going out for breakfast." We'd spend the whole day together. We got ready to go out. I wore one of Damon's big black shirt with a pair of sandals. "Are you leaving your hair like this?" Damon asked while I combed it. "No, I'm wearing a beanie." "Why do you ask?" "I just want you to leave it this way. It's beautiful this way," he said, kissing the spot at the base of my neck, and I closed my eyes, savoring the moment. When I opened my eyes and looked at Damon, the way he was watching me from under his kids was heavy with desire, and I know he was into me as much as I did. He turned me around and as his eyes locked on mine, his lips looked so full and inviting. He placed his lips on mine, and although the kiss was meant to be brief, he hooked a hand behind my head, lacing his fingers through the silk locks of my hair and pulled me closer. I wrapped my arms around his neck, leaning into the long, lean length of his body, and a low moan rumbled in his throat. He broke the kiss and gazed down at my eyes, glazed and half closed. "Do you have any idea what you're doing to me?" I knew what I was doing to him and smiled. "You like it?" He took my hand and placed it palm down on chest so I could feel the thump-thump of his heart. "What do you think?" I gave a smile as my answer and slipped my hand inside the collar of his chest and touched his bare skin. "Then maybe we should do it some more." His arms went around me and pulled me down for a deep, searching kiss. I fed off his mouth, feeling as though I could eat him up. His hands were in my hair, then stroking my back and shoulder. "We get going now. I don't think I'd be able to stop," he said, and I smiled. "What if I don't want you to stop?" I teased, and he grinned, telling me he wouldn't. We made out for a while before going out for breakfast. Breakfast was in an exquisite cafe and it was nice. We were sitting beside the window talking, and I really liked it. He was talking about his pack and things he liked to do. He was even sharing his funny childhood memories, and I couldn't help but laugh. I liked the way we were now, like a couple. After having breakfast, we went to his house, and there were some people there. It seemed as if there was trouble in the pack. Rogues were seen in our territory. We've caught them, and they are in the cell as we speak. "What is this thing doing with you?" a well-built, dark, and dangerous man asked. He was emitting a certain power, but it was not as strong as Damon's, making me to conclude he was the beta. His words hit me hard, and I was rendered speechless. I was called a thing, and it was just a plain insult to me, and it was just because I was a rogue. I was angry. These people didn't know me and just tagged me as someone dangerous just because I was a rogue. Didn't they know that people didn't become rogue by choice? Not every wolf out there wants to be a wolf. They just have to hear people's story before they conclude anything in the stupid brain of theirs. Damon rushed to him and gave him a punch on the face, causing him to stagger backwards. "I hope it's not who you're referring to." Damon growled out, giving him another punch on the face. I could feel the anger Damon was feeling. He was really mad. "You have no right to talk to her like that." The beta was punched again by Damon. "I want you to apologize to her," Damon ordered, and the beta looked at me with disgust. "Didn't you hear what I just said?" Damon asked, pushing him to the wall. "I heard you, sir." "I'm sorry to you, rogue," the beta said. "Is that a way to apologize?" Damon questioned, putting his hands around his neck. I think Damon was going too far. "I don't even need the apology anyway, since it won't be genuine, just forced." Damon let him go. I ordered, and Damon let him go, hitting his head on the wall and pushing him away. "Whatever she's doing here has nothing to do with you, and I don't want you or anyone else saying anything. I hope I've made myself clear." He looked from the beta to the remaining people around. "Yes, sir," they answered, and then Damon dismissed them angrily. "I'm sorry for what he said, Lee. I truly am." He wrapped his hands around me, and it gave me a bit of comfort. "It's nothing," I told him, and he frowned. "I know it affected you the same way it affected me. I don't like it when someone says something bad at you, much less you, that it's directed to. Honestly, it hurt. I don't like the way they talk or look at me. It just hurt. I'm always going to be treated like this, and I don't like it." I just feel like I'm always going to be treated like this, and I don't like it. I just feel I'm always not going to be respected and would just be that rogue, and I don't want that. Neither do I. Should I introduce you to the pack as my mate? It's not going to change anything, Damon. There's no need, I said, and he smiled. I just want them to know that you're important to me and should be respected as much as I am. If you even tell them, I don't think it'd make a difference, Damon, I said, and he sighed again. You can go now before they say a thing is keeping you away from your duty. I could feel Damon get angry at my words before he growled out. You're not a thing. Not to me or anyone else. What they say about you doesn't matter. Fine. They might call you a thing, but you're the most precious thing that came into my life. You have no idea what you mean to me, and that's what matters, not what those nothings have to say. I wrapped my hands around him and he held me protectively and possessively in his arms, and after what he just said, I was a little bit better, but that couldn't stop a tear from slipping down my eyes. It just slipped because I was hurt by what the beta had said and happy at what Damon said. I like the fact that he said I am the most precious thing to him. He might just have said it to make me happy, but I knew he meant it alongside how important I am to me. Don't let what they say or do bring you down, because you are stronger and better than that, he said, and captured my lips. Damon let one hand rest lightly upon my closed fist, smoothing my nape with his other hand, watching me respond, his eyes darkening, his body softening. My throat arched as his thumb skimmed my sensitive chord there, and higher to the underside of my chin and the fragile line of my jaw, sending thrills down my spine. I relaxed beneath his touch, my body responding to his hands. His eyes drowsy, and he was hungry like a hunter releasing his needs. Damon bent to fuse his mouth to my slightly parted one. His kisses were so soft I wanted to cry. I liked the way he was kissing me, slowly taking his time. He looked up at me, a small smile on his face. He held me so possessively in his arms, not wanting to let me go, and I liked it. His hands moved down to my waist, holding me tightly and kissing me gently. I have to go now. Don't think about it, okay? He gave me a peck on the forehead. I won't, I said, and he grinned, saying, that's my girl. After he left, I went to see Sam and Jonathan, and they seemed to be in a good mood. What's up with you guys? Maybe Jonathan has even found his mate. You need to fill us in, girl, Jonathan said, and I had to roll my eyes. How are things going on between you and Damon? Sam asked. Good. I feel like we're getting better now, I answered. So you're going to be ditching us now? We don't mind though. I can't wait to have little Damon and Leona running around, Jonathan said, and I laughed, slapped him on the head playfully. I can't wait for that too. You're going to be waiting for a long time then, I said, and Jonathan said before next year we'd have babies, causing me to laugh again. I'm happy you guys are better now. I'm happy too. I spent time with them till Damon came back and we went to his room. So how did it go? Chapter 31. So what happened? Rogues, they're just the wildest thing ever. They're planning an attack against our pack. Why? I asked, and he answered me, saying that was just how they did. Don't worry, you've got this, I soothed, rubbing his back lightly. I wrapped my arms around his and kissed him on the cheek. He drew in his breath before wrapping his arms around me. He lowered his head, leaned in and brushed his lips against mine. So sweet and gentle it made me smile. I slid my arms around his neck, pulling him closer, deepening the kiss, being in Damon's arm, feeling his warm skin. Soft yet firm, felt like home. In the evening, Chase came over. Him and Damon were talking, and I didn't want to interrupt, so I stayed with Sam and Jonathan munching popcorn while watching a movie, but my mind was not in it. Every now and then I'd look at door hoping to see Chase come out, but when it seemed as if he was not coming out, I decided to go. They were sitting on a lounge chair on the patio drinking wine, the evening moon glistening above. They were both laughing hard, and I felt jealous. Damon has not laughed with me at all. His laugh is so deep, sensual, the way his eyes shone while laughing, and when he threw his head back, causing his hair to bounce and cover his face. I wanted to be the one making him laugh like that. Damon turned to look at me, a smile tugged on his. What could Chase have said that made him laugh like that? Come over here, Damon ushered, making gestures with his hand. Hi, Chase greeted and I pushed him out of the chair playfully and he landed roughly on his butt, causing Damon to laugh while I freaked out over the fact that I did something to make him laugh. I sat down beside Damon, where Chase was previously occupying. "You know, you could have just told me to stand upright," Chase asked, laughing. "There's no fun in that," I said, and he rolled his eyes. "Standing up and pushing me away, Chase," I shouted. "You're sitting where I'm supposed to be," he said, sitting beside Damon and engulfing his arms in his. "I'm supposed to be sitting beside him, not you," I said, and Damon laughed, pulling me to sit on his laps. "You can sit beside him, but you can't sit on his laps," I said, sticking my tongue out at him while he just rolled his eyes. I moved, trying to sit comfortably on his laps. "Stop doing that, Lee," he growled out lowly. I mouthed, "Oh," and he placed me on his laps well before wrapping his arms around me and nuzzling my neck. "I see the atmosphere is changing. I'd see you guys later," Chase said, leaving, and Damon gave a distant bye. His hand moved my arm, the motion sensual and slow, his hand hard and warm upon my skin. His breath swept across my neck, tangled in my hair. He turned to brush his lips against mine, and I could taste the wine on his lips, the softness between them. My lips lifted slightly to his, following the contours of his, and I closed my eyes, savoring the unique experience of Dame and delicately exploring me. He reached to smooth my face, and time stood still for that heartbeat as I allowed myself to be studied. He traced my eyebrows and spread an ease I'd never known. I allowed myself to drift beneath his touches, the scent of his hand a seduction. He was slowly capturing me. He began to trace my hand with his fingers, his touch sending sparks all over my body, making my skin tingle. His big, marvelous hands that was beginning to work its way to my cleavage. He had slid higher, raising beneath the T-shirt over my bare breasts. His lips found mine again. The heat growing between us seemed so natural, and then there was his lips, soft upon mine, his tongue suckling mine and mine tasting his. The hard rise of his desire against my stomach told me what he wanted. I've never been touched like this before. I lifted my lids to see his expression. It was dark, intense and heated as he looked down at me. "You're beautiful, perfect," his voice laced with desire, I said, smiling widely, and he chuckled. "I should get you to bed." He laced his hands with mine, leading us out. We stopped by the lounge to see Jonathan, Sam and Chase. Chase was raising his eyebrows suggestively while Jonathan made a remark about going to make mini us, while Sam just smiled. Damon's POV: the next morning, I carefully slipped away from Leona not to wake her up. My beta just sent me a message through the mind link that other rogues were caught around our territory. I showered and put on a casual outfit before going to meet him. We met at the border. The rogues were threatened and tortured to divulge information about the attack, but none of them quivered, and I killed all 10 of them. The rogues were completely beginning to annoy me. After killing the rogues, I decided to hold a meeting with the warriors in the kitchen about patrol. We had to double the patrol day and night and be vigilante. Jones, you're in charge of the night patrol. Make sure no one sleeps on the job. Craig, you're in charge of the morning to afternoon. Grayson, you're in charge of border patrol. I signposted and we made adjustments to all the plans. We were almost done when a sweet erotic scent took over the whole room. She moved gracefully like a cat into the kitchen. I could see her body, curves, and it was tempting. Her body was outlined against the glittering morning sun. She walked to the tap, got a kettle, filling it with water, then made coffee. She sat on the stool carelessly, her mind far away. I couldn't help but stare at the beauty that was mine. She took a sip from her coffee, crossing her long, smooth and sexy legs. There seemed to be a permanent frown on her face. I wonder why. I hope no one said anything to her or did anything to her. I had to ask her why. She was simply fascinating to watch. Her long white hair was cascading down her waist. I really wanted to stroke it. "Alpha, you were saying." The beta caught my attention, but I couldn't even remember if I was saying something than to think of what I was saying. I noticed a few unmated wolves staring at her. Not with disgust, but plain lust, and I started getting angry. No one else was allowed to look at her like that except me. This would be the end for now. You can carry on with your duties. I dismissed, but Richard lingered, still looking at her. "That would be all, Richard. Get going." I growled out and he left. I couldn't believe she didn't notice I was here, or she was just pretending not to. Her lips met the mug as she swallowed its content, and I thought of that lips doing something else. I just stood watching her with a smile on my face. I finally walked up to her and she was startled. "Are you all right?" I asked, and she just hugged me and I could feel the swell of her breasts on my chest. "I'm not," she answered, her face not leaving my chest, and I wrapped my arms dangerously below her waist. "What's wrong?" I asked. "Nothing." "Never mind." She brushed off. "I missed you." Could she be missing me as much as I missed her? Craving my touch as much as I do? "You weren't there when I woke up," she stated. "I had something to take care of. I'm sorry for not leaving you a note." I apologized and she nodded. Her mind was still far away. "What are you thinking of, Lee?" I asked out of concern. What was she thinking of? Didn't she trust me enough to tell me? "It's nothing." She shrugged off. I was disappointed that she couldn't tell me, but I decided to shrug it off too. "Did I tell you how sexy you look this morning?" I asked, twirling the curls of her hair around my finger. "No, you didn't," she replied, smiling. "You look incredibly sexy, especially since you're not wearing anything under my shirt." I told her before covering her lips with mine, drawing her into a long, tender kiss. I began kissing her slowly, taking my time with it. I began kissing her slowly, taking my time with it. I reached to touch her, exploring her body. The kiss was getting fast now. My hands moved to her hips and then her butt, caressing it gently. I was settling in for a deep, exotic taste of her. I just wanted to hold her in my hands and kiss her all day long. She started unbuttoning my shirt to the last button, then took it off, caressing my chest freely. Her lips for once leaving mine. I wanted to do more than just kiss her. She lifted her head and I started trailing kisses down her neck until a low moan escaped her mouth. My hands flowed to her breasts, caressing each one of them through the shirt, using my other hand to pull her close to me, caressing her bottom. I wanted to take her shirt off and cup each breast in my hand, but I knew she was naked beneath it. It made desire surge through me. I knew I was getting aroused and knew she could feel it. I just couldn't stop myself these days. Since when I met her, all I wanted to do was mark her and mate her, but I just couldn't do that like that. There has to be a connection deeper than the one we shared now. I wanted her to be okay with it. I knew she wasn't still too sure about her feelings yet. I wanted to make love to her, let her know she was a part of me deep down where no one else had reached. My lips found hers again, demanding for her kisses, seeking for her permission to let me in. I wanted to have her right then and there. She gave me permission and our tongues were dancing together, moving in sync. I still continued caressing her breasts with my left hand, my right on her bottom. She let out series of moans, causing me to moan too. I liked that she was enjoying what I was doing to her as much as I did Lee. I moaned out and she smiled, pulling away. She pulled out of the kiss in a rugged breath, closing her eyes before raking her hands through her hair. "What's wrong?" I asked, confused. Didn't she like what just happened? Don't she think we're rushing things? Rushing things. I was barely making up for lost times. "So you want things slow?" I asked and she nodded. "I think I can arrange that." "I don't know, Damon. This is all new to me and it's scaring me. Especially how much I want you," she confessed, causing me to smile. "You have no idea how much I want you to leave, but if you want things slow, I do that until you get used to it," I said, wrapping my arms around her, and she gave a contented smile. "Please try not to come out with just my shirt again. It's too hard to resist you like this. Damn, it's too hard to resist you anytime," I said, and she smiled widely. Her smile dropped instantly and there was a frown on her face and she sighed heavily. "What's wrong now?" "Lee, what's wrong?" I asked again. I had a nightmare, Damon. Lauren Day. She was here. She took me. She destroyed everything. I realized what got her so worked up and worried. I hate the fact that Lauren Day is chasing her, threatening to kill her. I hate the fact that she feels insecure. I hate the fact that I wasn't there to comfort her when she woke up. I just hate the situation she's in. She's not going to hurt you, okay? I'm here for you. She's not going to take you anywhere, I reassured, trying to soothe her, and she just nodded. "Lee, everything is going to be fine." "I don't think so, Damon," she doubted. "I know she's going to be here, Damon. She'd come for me. If she comes for you, we're going to take care of it, Lee." She won't hurt you. I hope so, Damon. I hope so, she said, and I started stroking her hair. It's going to be okay. Don't worry about it. I'm not going to lie that I'm not scared. I don't want anything to happen to her. Protecting her and loving her was my main priority, and I didn't want to fail her in that. If worse comes to worse, it's going to be my life for hers. Okay, I won't, she replied. I have something to take care of. I'd see you later, okay? 𝐿𝐤𝐸𝐾𝐜 𝐊𝐿𝐿. Heartfelt thanks for your unfailing 𝐃𝐥𝐻𝐬𝐧. She replied. I gave her a kiss on the forehead before letting her go, while she went upstairs to probably freshen up. I went to the pack house. When I was done with what I had to do, I came back to our room, but it was locked from within, and I wondered why. I'm here opened the door. I knocked, saying, but I didn't get a response. Maybe she was in the bathroom or something. I waited for a few minutes knocking and still got no response from her, and so I decided she was sleeping. Just as I was about going down, I felt anxious, worried and angry. I knew it wasn't me. Definitely Leona. It seems like we've started bonding well, since I could feel her emotions now, but it wasn't as nearly as strong as it'd be after I marked her. I knocked on the door frantically, calling her name. Could 𝐿𝐤 have gotten to her so soon? A new wave of worry washed through me, and this time it was mine. Chapter 30, Leona's POV. After our heated make-out session, I went upstairs to go and freshen up. I seriously don't know what's happening to me. I couldn't control my feelings for Damon. I wanted him to mark and to mate me. I seriously don't know why he's holding back. Could it be because of me? I went to the bathroom, did all the essentials, and wore a black crop top and jeans short. I seriously couldn't wait for Damon to come back. While we were kissing, I just forgot about my nightmare of 𝐿𝐤 coming. I knew she'd come cause I wasn't safe even with Damon. I just couldn't wait for me kill her and for all these to be over. To pass time, I took a book from the shelf about the Wolf Kingdom. The current Wolf King was Sean and his queen was 𝐿𝐤. They still didn't have a successor, which was weird cause from what I've read they've been together for 10 years, and it was compulsory to have a child during the first year. Even for Alphys, much less the king. It made me question if she was truly his mate, because it was only the king's mate that could give him children. There was also a controversy about his rise to the throne. The previous king's family was wiped out mysteriously. Maybe he wasn't truly the heir. The story got me intrigued, and I wanted to know more. There was even a controversy about him. The council was setting out to take him down because he was useless to them with no heir. The door opened and someone not Damon walked in. I'm sorry, but Damon is not here. And who said I was looking for him? He asked, closing the door behind him. I don't know what you want. Neither do I care to know, so just leave. I want you, he replied with a smirk, and I just laughed. Get out. I ordered, not after I'm done with you. He grinned mischievously. Look, I don't have time for all these nonsense, so please leave cause I'm losing it. I threatened. If he doesn't answer me, I'd gladly kill him. That's exactly what I want. For you to lose your cool baby. The guy was disgusting me with his stupid talk. All I wanted to do was burn him to death with my powers, but that's going to be so cruel, and I just couldn't kill a member of Damon's pack like that. I'd just be giving people a tangible reason to hate me and talk. I walked past him to the door. If he wasn't going to leave, then I would. Just as I was about to open it, he pushed me back with so much force I fell down. You're not leaving here until I'm done with you. I just laughed hearing what he said. Someone please save me from his stupid talk. You're not going to do anything, you idiot. I said, running to the bathroom and closing it. If he managed to get in, I'd try as much as possible not to kill him. A door can't stop me. The door was broken and I let out a shock scream. He wasn't supposed to open it this fast. He came close to me and I gave him a punch on the face, hitting his head on the wall repeatedly. His claws were on my wrist before I knew it, and I was starting to bleed. I didn't know you liked it rough, baby, he said, pushing me to the wall, caressing my face. I stepped on his foot, and just as I was about to make a run for it, he placed his leg in front of me, and I didn't notice it quickly. I tripped, falling on the floor. You're mine, he said, pouncing on me, putting his weight on me, and I couldn't move. Get off me, you freak, I shouted, using my claws to scratch his face. He didn't even get affected by it and his grip on me tightened. He was leaving me no choice. If I used my powers on him, I'd have to kill him. Someone started knocking and I figured it would be Damon. I wanted to scream, but the idiot placed his hands over my mouth and started moving on me. I bit his hands and shouted Damon's name, rolling him off me. "You're not getting off me," he said, hitting my head on the floor repeatedly, and the impact was really painful. "I'd mark you and make you mine. In your dreams, the only one allowed to do that. It's only Damon." I was starting to get dizzy and I didn't want him to mark me. I pushed him off me and tried to get up. He pushed me down again, hitting my head on the floor, moving his weight on me. How disgusting. I was going to kill him. If I killed him, I killed him. I can't stand this. Damon's POV, I heard her call out my name and I was relieved she was still alive. I broke down the door only for me to see Richard on top of her, his canines inches away from her neck. Fury surged through me and I went over there. Pushed him to the wall where his head had had a heavy impact on his head. Here I was thinking it was Law and Day, but it was this idiot. How could he do this to her? How could he think he could have her? I got to where he was and picked him up furiously, hitting his head on the wall continuously, then threw him into a corner of the room. "I'm still going to have her no matter what you do." The bastard still had the mouth to talk, even giving me a punch, and his words infuriated me. "She's only mine. To my 𝐻𝐻𝐸𝐬 𝐑𝐞𝐝, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm." I punched him on the face repeatedly. I could feel my wolf threatening to take over and I let it take over my body. My canines and claws were out and I knew I wouldn't be able to stop until I killed him. He came to me ready to fight and I used my claws on him from his shoulder to his waist. "She's mine. Don't you think for once that you can have her? You have absolutely no right to look at her or touch her." I shouted angrily and he laughed, telling me he had every right to. The fact that he wasn't even remorseful annoyed me further, and I pounced on him, snacking his neck canines to rip his body and I didn't stop till he was dead. I turned to look at Leona and she was behind me, watching me the whole time. What does she think of me now? "Hey, it's all right, I'm fine." She hugged me and I could feel my wolf relax as I took in her scent. "I don't know how I'd have handled it if she hurt you, Lee." I wrapped my hands around her, closing my eyes. He had tried to mark and mate her, something only I is permitted to do. He wouldn't have. "You came." She was resting her head on my chest now, drawing circles on it. "You could have easily done something. Why didn't you do anything?" I know she could have killed him if she wanted to. He's a member of your pack. I didn't want to kill him, and besides, I want other people to be mad at me more than they are. She replied and I smiled. She'd make the perfect Luna, my soulmate, me Raina. "Well, you have my permission to kill anyone that tries to kill you." I told her and she laughed, saying, "And hoping it won't get to that." I stayed in her arms for a while, then pulled out, telling her I had to take care of the body and fix the room, telling her to stay with Sam and Jonathan. When everything was done within the evening, the room was back to the way it was. We talked for hours. I really liked spending time with her, talking to her, hearing her laugh. It just made me like her more, and the sparkles that erupted whenever we touched and kissed was amazing. I finally felt at peace with myself in a way, although I know things were far from okay. "You're getting sleepy," she pointed out. "I'm sorry. I'm tired," I said, patting her back lightly. "Today has been long for you," she said, resting her head on my chest, drawing circles on it. I guess she was used to it or liked doing it. "And you too. You should sleep," she said, looking up at me. "Okay. Good night, Lee." I gave her a simple kiss on the lips. "Good night, Damon," she said, smiling. I was walking in the forest. It was pitch black, but I could see a silhouette of someone. I walked closer and realized that it was a girl and she was bending down crying. "What's the problem?" I asked, and she raised her head up. It was Arya. Her eyes were red as blood and she looked up at me with vengeance in her eyes. "You left me. You didn't come back for me," she shouted, bringing out a dagger from her pocket. "To my 𝐻𝐻𝐸𝐬 𝐑𝐞𝐝, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm." "I did, but you were already dead. You left me. It's all your fault. Mother told you not to leave me, but you did. I'm going to destroy you." 𝐿𝐷𝐞𝐝 Heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. I'm sorry. I can explain. I pleaded. There's no need. We can be together forever. She drove the dagger right through my stomach. 𝐿𝐷𝐞𝐝 Heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. I called out. We'd be together forever, brother. You have no idea how long I have waited for this day. She disappeared and I began to whimper her name. Damon. Damon. I could hear her calling out my name, but I couldn't answer. Damon, wake up. She was tapping me furiously until my eyes popped open. Hey, you're with me. Everything is fine. You're okay. She hugged me, patting my back continuously, telling me everything was fine. I didn't know what to say and stayed silent as she just patted me, stroking my hair. I felt stupid. I looked weak. I was supposed to be the one comforting her from a nightmare, not the other way round. After a while, when I was okay, I wrapped my arms around her, tightly taking in her scent as it calmed me down. What happened? She asked, facing me and cupping my face. It was nothing. Just a nightmare. I replied, a nightmare isn't nothing, Damon. What happened in your nightmare? She questioned. I don't want to talk about it. I answered, and I could see the hurt in her face. It's not like I don't want to tell you. It's just what? She snapped, cutting me a flea. I thought you could talk to me about anything. Why don't you want to tell me? She asked quietly. I've been battling with this nightmares for years and I've not opened up to anyone about it. I'm not just anyone, Damon. I'm your mate, she stated. I want to know everything about you. Your fears. Your nightmare. Every single thing. I was really touched that she wanted to know about me this much, but there were some things I still couldn't tell her. Some things that were better left as secrets. It was just a nightmare that I've been having for a while. It was Arya. I've not gotten over her death. I'm still not over the fact that she died because of me. I shouldn't have left her that night, Lee. It was my fault that they found her and killed her. It's not your fault, Damon. Maybe you shouldn't have left her, but you did. You need to get over it and move on. You need to stop being so guilt-stricken and forgive yourself. I don't think I can do that, Lee. I was supposed to protect her. I failed her, Lee, and I'm scared that I'd fail you. Damon, you need to stop worrying, okay? She soothed, stroking my hair. I couldn't protect her, Lee. What if I can't protect you? My biggest fear is losing you, and I don't think I'd be able to live with that. I can't lose someone that means so much to me again. I confessed. I'm scared. Very scared of losing her, especially after her nightmare. You're not going to lose me, Damon. I'm here. I'm not going to leave you. You're not going to lose me, she reassured. Her reassuring me wasn't going to stop my fears from going, but it did calm me down a bit. I've lost my whole family. I can't lose my next one. Barricade the border. Heighten the security at the perimeter. Any rogue found on our territory dies on spot. I ordered, sir. They are here. One of the guards at the border walked into Immerse. Take the children and women to the underground room. Station 15 men with them. The rest of us to the border. We left the conference room where PAT meetings were held and left for the border. I mind-linked Chase to stay with Leona. There were rogues. A lot of them. Give or take 50. Some pack members and rogues were already dead. I shifted to my wolf form since most of them were. As soon as I shifted, one lunged at me and I wasted no time in tearing it into pieces. More came at me and I continued to fight them off. I hated these rogues more than anything and I stationed all my anger towards them while fighting. We were done fighting and I shifted back to my human form. My beta call handed me some clothes and I changed. I turned to look at the scene in front of me. Dead bodies were almost everywhere. We lost a considerable amount of warriors, but all the rogues were dead. I felt sorry for our warriors that died. They were not returning back to their families. Their mate. I can't imagine not coming back to Lee or how she'd feel if I don't come back, but they died protecting the people. At least we could have peace of mind. Or so I thought. Gather all the rogues and burn them, while we take our men to the cemetery for a befitting burial. Every one of us stood in front of the bodies of our dead warriors, giving them the last respect. The pain was all I felt. I was shot. I felt immense pain and I knew that the bullet must have been coated with silver but not enough to kill me. Just enough to hurt me, cause me pain and make me extremely dizzy. I turned around only for me to see a female rogue, one that I recognized so well. Before I could react, Kyle shot her legs and the whole warriors surrounded her. She just made a silly move. Did she think she can try to kill me and get away with it? I knew if I didn't say or do something they would not hesitate to kill her. I was feeling really dizzy and knew I couldn't hold it that long. Handcuff. Take her to a cell. I'd torture her myself, I ordered before following. Chapter 33. I felt an excruciating pain at my back causing me to scream. I hoped 𝐿𝐲𝐸 wasn't the cause, but if not her, who could it be? My thoughts quickly drifted to Damon and I knew he was the one feeling the pain. It seems like our mate bond was improving, but I'm not even supposed to feel his pain yet since he hasn't marked or mated me, so why was I feeling this now? What's wrong? All eyes were on me now with a look of concern. It's Damon. He's in pain. I felt dizzy and feel. I woke up and all eyes were still on me, but the person's eyes I really wanted to see wasn't. Where's Damon? He's in the PAC hospital. Chase answered. Is he okay? I want to see him. Please let me see him. I begged. You can't. He's in the PAC hospital. And so, I need to know that he's okay. I pleaded. Well, he is. You can't see him now. He was attacked by a rogue and you're a rogue. The council's not having mercy on anyone. The moment you step in there, his mate or not, you'd be put on trial to be executed. When can I see him, Chase? I asked, getting impatient. Soon. You just need to be patient. Chase advised. Am I excluded from the trial? Jonathan asked while Sam rolled his eyes. If I'm not excluded, how much more, Jonathan? I just hope there wouldn't be any need for a trial. I relaxed a bit knowing Damon was okay. I started to feel his anger and I knew he must be up already inside. I wonder why he was angry now. I really wanted to see him and calm him down. Slowly his anger started subsiding until it was no longer there. Chase had to leave to go see Dame and leaving just Sam and Jonathan with me. You can feel each other's emotion and pain without mating. How cute is that? Jonathan smiled, asking. Cute? Only Jonathan can say feeling someone else's pain is cute, but then it is in a way. Knowing that we could feel our emotions without mating, feel as if our bond is special or is getting stronger. I don't know. Maybe it is in a way. I replied. So what are you guys planning on mating? Sam asked, and it threw me off guard. I would like if we mate soon. I'm tired of the sensual tension between us and I want to have his mark and officially be his. You don't plan those type of things, Sam. They just happen. Then it's going to happen sometime soon. I've been seeing the way you look at each other and your make-out session is moving to the next level. My mouth was opened in shock. How would he know that? Jonathan, have you been spying on us? I asked angrily. No way. I'm a good guy. I just happened to be at the right place at the right time. To my 𝐿𝐸𝐴𝐺𝐸, my 𝐿𝐸𝐿𝐸. Heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. I can't wait to be at the right place when you have your mate. I said, smirking. Yeah. We both would sneak up on them. I'd like to watch Jonathan kissing his mate or being romantic. Sam said, laughing, and I joined in. The imagination was just too awkward. Oh please. At least I'm going to have a mate. You're just a hopeless dude when it comes to love. Jonathan said, and I think Sam got angry. More like hurt. I love life has nothing to do with you. Sam angrily stated, waking away. Now it's down to us two. Who's the next person to walk out? Jonathan asked, and I laughed, telling him it would be since I slept here. Jonathan left to go talk to Sam, leaving me alone, and I was bored. I wanted to go see Damon. I wonder what was taking his time to come see me. Just as I was about to go, he walked in. I rushed to him, hugging him and circling my hands around him. He winced in pain when my hand touched his back. That must have been where he was shot. Didn't know you missed me much, he said, chuckling, wrapping his arms around me. I did. I confessed. You got hurt. It'd heal. Don't worry about me. How can he expect me not to worry? Who shot you? I asked, and he chuckled. Do you want to kill the person? If you haven't killed the person, maybe I will. I said, and he smiled, stroking my hair. I have something to tell you, he said, and I got nervous. What could he possibly want to tell me? What's it? Just as he opened his mouth to talk, a squealing Chi came in, hugging him. Damon, why didn't you tell me you're back? I heard from someone else and immediately I came here. Whoever told Chi-Chi to come back deserves to be killed. Why couldn't she just stay there? I don't have to tell you anything. Damon removed her hands from his as she turned to look. What's this filthy rogue doing here? She asked, a tone of disgust in her voice and looks. I wasted no time in giving her a slap. If she thinks she can just come here and talk to me anyhow, then she's really mistaken. The only filthy thing here is you. Damon, why haven't you killed this thing? Didn't you see that she slapped me? Chi-Chi, look, I don't want anything to do with you. Just leave. You can't get rid of me like that, Damon. Leave, Chi-Chi. I don't have anything to do with you. He spoke up harsher this time and Chi-Chi smiled. Why would she be smiling when he said that? Well, you have everything to do with me, Damon, because I'm pregnant and the child is yours. She dropped the bombshell with a wide smile, and I didn't know what to think. As if we didn't hear her the first time, she started talking again. I'm carrying our baby, Damon. Chapter 30. For their heated love-making on the day he met me most have resulted to this. He shouldn't have had sex with her, especially after meeting me. He shouldn't have had anything to do with her at all. I was so angry at both of them. If at all they wanted to have sex, there's a condom, for God's sake. Damon's laugh echoed through the room, and I had no idea why he was laughing at a matter that wasn't humorous. I don't know what game you are playing at, but I know fully well that I'm not interested. Dame Anne said angrily, if you think I'm lying, here's the test. She said, handing it to him. I'm 7 weeks pregnant, Damon, and it's our baby, she said, smiling. You've finally outdone yourself this time, I said, clapping my hands. Congratulations. Lee, I swear to you the baby's not mine, Damon said, and I laughed. Then whose is it then? It couldn't have been anyone but you. Yes, Damon. The baby's ours, Chi-Chi spoke up. Shut up. I shouted, walking up to her. Why did you have anything to do with him? Why couldn't he have left her alone? How's it your business, you filthy thing? She asked, and I slapped her. He's my business. I said, possessive lie. So you want Damon? She asked angrily. Damon is mine, and I'm surely not going to lose him to a thing like you. He's not yours. He's mine and only mine. I shouted, furiously hitting her head on the wall. You should watch how you talk to me. I won't hesitate to kill you and that thing you're carrying. How on earth did this happen, Chi-Chi? All my anger transferred to him. Didn't he know what he did that got her pregnant? How did this happen? Let me give you a hint. You were seeking her, that's how. I shouted angrily at him. Lee, calm down, let me make you understand. Damon said, holding my hand, trying to soothe me. Understand what exactly? I snapped, pulling my hands away from him. How great she was in bed, but you didn't stop. I don't want to understand then. Get out of here, Chi-Chi. He growled out angrily, using his alpha tone, and she scoffed before going away. You knew I was your mate, Damon, yet you still had sex with her, not minding that you had a mate, and what hurt most was that you did it twice. I said, voice was laced with anger and hurt. He began, and I cut him short, telling him to shut up. Which excuse are you going to give now, huh? She's carrying your child, and if it's a boy, then I'm done for. I'm your mate, but it looks like I'm not going to have anything to do with you. It was stupid of me to think that everything will be fine between us. You can fulfill your long-last dream of her being your Luna, I said, walking towards the door, and he pulled me back. You are my Luna. Why can't you understand that I want you for everything, not her? I swear to you, every god, that the child is not mine, he said, holding my hand, staring at my eyes, and I could detect anger and hurt in his. He had no right to feel those things. I'm the one that's going to get thrown out. You can lie or swear all you want. It wouldn't change the truth, I said, avoiding to look into his eyes. So you're just going to believe her words over mine? He sounded and looked hurt. I have every evidence to, I said coldly. Chi-Chi might be pregnant, but it's not mine, he said, and I laughed. Who's he trying to fool? Try telling that to a fool and not me. It was nice being with you in the small moments we shared, but I guess it's useless since we're back to square one, I said, walking out, and he didn't stop me. I entered Sam and Jonathan's room and sat on the bed. I really wanted to cry about the fate I had. How would the moon goddess do this to me? We were getting better, but now I doubt if everything would be okay. He just couldn't keep his DCK in his trouser, and now our relationship is ruined. She'd be his Luna and have his children while I'd probably be dead somewhere, and so I just cried. It was really heartbreaking. I never get anything I want. I was looking forward to how he'd mark me. Us mating, but now it would never happen. Maybe he didn't mock me anyway. Maybe he's ashamed of me. What's wrong? Sam asked. Is Damon right? What did he do? Jonathan questioned. 𝐿𝐤𝐧𝐸 𝐷𝐸𝐿𝐤 𝐿𝐤𝐧𝐸𝐿𝐤. She's pregnant for Damon. I replied, then I started crying. I can't help it. What if these days 𝐿𝐤 will come for me and I might die? I wanted to die knowing I have a mate who loves me and a child, but now I have nothing. You have Damon, Sam reassured. She has him already. What's just left is the mating ceremony and for him to make her his Luna and reject me. He wouldn't do that, Jonathan said, and I just laughed. At this point anything is possible. I don't want to stay here again. Let's leave. Surely you don't mean that? Jonathan said, shocked. I mean it. I want to leave. Probably tomorrow. So you're just going to give up like that? Sam angrily asked. There's no point in fighting. If he ever wanted me, he wouldn't have done that. I said softly, feeling the tears run down. So you're going to prefer being on the run than to stay where you're safe? Jonathan asked calmly, although I knew he wanted to shout. Safe here? I knew I wasn't safe here or anywhere. It'd take only a matter of days for Lauren Day to get here, and she's not the only one after me. Damon Peck is too. I know they want to put me in jail. Torture me before killing me. It's better to go now and be on the run than stay, where I'm not wanted, knowing my only hope won't save me. I can't stay here. Some hours later, after waking up from a sleep I didn't realize I got into, I got out of the room to find something to eat and I saw Chase, Sam and Jonathan in the kitchen. How are you doing, Lee? Chase asked, passing me cookies and a glass of milk as I sat. You've heard of Chi-Chi's pregnancy? Damon told me, he said sadly. He's wasting no time in telling his friends the good news about his Luna and child. Was the only thing I could say. I wanted to cry, and I rarely do. Lee, the baby can't be his. 𝐿𝐤𝐧𝐸𝐿𝐤 𝐷𝐸𝐿𝐤. What's with people and saying? You're just taking his side, but seriously, there's no need. I don't care. Lee, just listen. Chase begged. I don't want to. I don't want to talk or hear anything about it. I angrily said. I found my mate. Chase announced, but he didn't sound as excited as I thought he would be. That's good for you, bro. It's just me. Jonathan congratulated, and Wind and Sam added his too. That's nice. Where and when did you find her? I asked, getting excited about having a girlfriend. I found her in the pack cell today, he said, and I had my mouth open. That's not what I expected to hear. Pack cell. This doesn't sound good. Pack cell. What's she doing there? We chorused. She's the rogue who shot Damon, he answered, and I gasped. His fate was worse. At least I didn't shoot Damon. I wonder how this must be for him. I'm sure they'd want to kill her. I wanted to a while ago. Would Damon let her go because she's his mate? From what I've heard earlier, I know enough to say she's toast, Jonathan said, and Chase eyed heavily. I sincerely don't know what to do, it's driving me crazy, Chase said, and I could feel how pain. What's Damon say? Does he want her killed? He doesn't want her to be killed as much as I do. The council wouldn't listen to that, and I think they'd come for you guys too. Could things get any worse? We have to leave, I don't want to die yet, Jonathan said jokingly, but I knew he was serious. If we're going, let's take Chase mate with us, I suggested. You wouldn't be able to. The security is very tight, you wouldn't be able to walk in there unnoticed, Chase said sadly. I can do that. We can, I said confidently. We can come up with a plan. I'd leave with you guys too, Chase said, and I nodded. I was going to leave Damon with Chi-Chi so they can happily ever after. It made me sad to leave, but it's something that has to be done. The next hour was spent building up a plan. We're leaving in the next 2 days. It was dark already, 9 p.m. to be exact, and I haven't seen Damon for 6 hours. I missed him. I tried sleeping, but I couldn't. I stayed up, not falling asleep. The time was 10 now. I tossed and turned, feeling uncomfortable, and my mind was in a state of unease replaying today's incident. I suddenly wanted to see Damon. What if his back was hurting him? What if he couldn't sleep too? I got out of the bed and was at Damon's doorstep before I knew it. I wanted to go in but decided against it. He could take care of himself. I still couldn't sleep when I went back to bed, and knowing I wouldn't sleep till I saw him, I decided to just go and see him. I went into his room. The lights were off, but I could see him laying on the bed. I decided to steal some of his shirts so that I'd be able to sleep with his scent. I took out 3 shirts, and just as I closed the wardrobe I felt a hand around me, and I knew instantly that it was Damon from his scent and the way my body reacted to his touch. "Spend the night with me, Lee," he begged, the desperation clear in his voice. I wanted to give in. I was craving him. Isn't that why I couldn't sleep? I needed his hands around me. I wanted to hold him as I slept, but I couldn't, and besides I needed to get used to being alone again. "I can't," I said, pulling his hands away, and he sighed. "Don't do this to us, Lee," he begged, and that set me off. "Do this to us? You're the one who did this to us. Don't try putting the blame on me. I wasn't the one who was having sex with someone," I angrily said. "Baby, I apologize for having sex with her. I have before, but I swear to you she's not pregnant for me. Why can't you just believe that it's a lie?" he asked, frustratingly reaching out to me. "Oh, I can see it's a lie. The one you're telling," I said angrily. "I'm not lying to you. I'd never do that," he said, and I scoffed. "Who are you kidding? I don't care what you can or can't do. I don't want this drama. I'm not interested in acting. Neither am I. I can see now that you don't trust me. You're not even willing to believe me." He sounded hurt. "Yes, I don't believe you because everything points at you. Even if I wanted to, I can't. If you trust me even just a bit, you'd believe what I have to say irrespective of everything, but right now I can see that you don't at all." He sounded so hurt, as if he was in so much pain. "Don't dare bring trust into this. 𝐿𝐸𝐬, I spat out angrily. "I can see you're not going to believe any word I say. It's useless talking to you," he said, going to bed. "Just as it's useless being with you. It's just a complete waste of time, so don't worry, you have forever to talk to 𝐿𝐸𝐬, who's worth talking to, and I'd just leave since that's what you want me to." I was angry, extremely angry. By the time I had finished talking, Damon had me pinned to the wall. "I don't want you to. You're not going to leave me. I wouldn't allow you to," he growled out. "My mind is set, Damon. You'd wake up and wouldn't find me here. I'm done with all these nonsense. I wouldn't let you leave my side. I wouldn't allow it." He growled again, intimidating me with his gaze. I could see his eyes that was glittering green before now turning to black. His wolf was threatened by my statement. "You can't stop me, Damon. When I leave, you'd never see me again. I'd forget about you and continue my life with someone that matters. Someone that would love and appreciate me." Of course, I didn't really mean what I said except from leaving. He furiously hit the wardrobe very close to my cheeks. He was furious, and I had a feeling he had wanted to hit me, not the wardrobe. "You wouldn't be able to leave this place, Lee. Even if you go to the end of the world, I would search for you and wouldn't stop till I find you, and once I do, I'd never let you out of my sight because you're mine, Leona, and I don't let go of what's mine," he growled out, possessive lie, his eyes completely black. "You can't let go of what you're not holding in the first place. I'm not yours. You can't call me yours. You didn't realize I was yours when you did what you did with 𝐿𝐸𝐬, I said angrily, and I could see some tears slip. I was really hurt. I hate crying. "You are mine, Lee. Only mine," he growled out, his teeth elongated to his canine. He was going to mark me to make me understand that I'm his. Oh no.